G'day lads, welcome to the video on how to adjust for time. We've got two different entries up on the board. So we've got furniture getting purchased halfway through the year and then you have to depreciate it. And then we've got insurance which is paid for halfway during the year, so prepaid expense. So there's obviously a calculation involved in getting the actual entry right. Okay, so we'll start with the first one. You can see the trial balance up here as you would be presented with the question. So you've got your amounts in the trial balance. Now we need to do the entry. Okay. So furniture was purchased on the 1st of the 3rd, so 1st of March 2018, and depreciates at 10% straight line method. Okay, so the first thing to do is to figure out how much the depreciation expense is. Okay, so depreciation expense using the straight line method is historical cost times the rate. Alright, so we can pop that in. Historical cost is just what you pay for the asset. So $6,000 is what we paid for the asset, that's in our trial balance, times the rate, 10%, which will give us $600. Now, that's the depreciation expense for the whole year. So if we had the asset for a whole year, the depreciation expense would be $600. But we haven't. We bought it halfway through the year. Okay, so now we need to figure out using, or counting back our months, how many months have we had the asset for. So we bought the asset on the 1st of the 3rd. This is balance date, or today's date if you like. This is into the future. Okay, so you've got to figure out for these, how many months for the depreciation ones, how many months have we had the asset for, because then we can allocate the expense appropriately. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to get this figure, the $600, into a per month. Okay, so then 600 over 12 will give us $50 of depreciation expense per month. Now it's about figuring out how long we have the asset for. So if we bought it on the 1st of March, we've had the asset for March. So 1st of March, so all of March, April, May, and June. So we've had it for 4 months. Okay, so 50 times 4 going to be $200. So that means that we're allocating $200 of depreciation expense to the asset. Okay, so that's our golden figure if you like. So 200. That's our depreciation on furniture. So now we go up to the journal and finish it off. Okay, 30th of the 6th, 2018. A debit entry is depreciation expense on furniture, admin expense, okay, and then accumulated depreciation. That's the negative non-current asset. Now, remember with these ones, it's always going to be in this order because the depreciation expense will always be the debit entry. Okay, so it's just the $200 and then 200 on the credit side for the negative non-current asset. Okay, you can draw a line across that one. That's done. All right, now we'll do the second one. So adjusting for time. Okay, so we've got an expense here, insurance paid on the 31st of the 11th, 17, and lasts for 12 months. So we've got insurance. The business has paid for their insurance cover, and it's going to last them for a full 12 months. But we paid out halfway through the year. Okay, so we've got to make an adjustment for that. So I'll do my working out down here. Insurance was paid on the 31st of the 11th. Okay, so that means all of the insurance was paid for. So we come up to the trial balance. It's $2,400. So $2,400 was paid. on the 31st of the 11th, 17. Now it's going to last me for a full year. Okay, so 31st of the 11th, 18. But this is balance day in here. Okay, balance day is 30th of the 6th, 18. So this is into the future, if you like, or in advance. This is the past, if you like. So, 2,400 was paid on this date. Alright, it's going to last for a full year. But we need the statements, and in particular here, we need the insurance expense when we put it into the statements to actually reflect the expense we incurred, not just what was paid, because that just tells us what was paid, not what expense was incurred or used. Okay, so we have to make the adjustment for that. Okay, so what we'll do now is try to figure out what's been incurred and then what's been paid in advance. What fraction of this figure was paid in advance and what fraction was incurred or used, because that's what we want that figure to be. Alright, so first thing we do, get it into a per month figure. So get that whole amount into a per month figure. That's going to equal $200 per month. So now we've got into a per month figure, we can figure out what expense was actually incurred and what was paid in advance. Alright, so 31st of the 11th. So that's all of it, so the last day of November. Alright, so in terms of what expense we would have incurred, it's going to be December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So 7 months. 7 months have transpired here, meaning that the other 5 are into the future. Okay? Well, we've got our per month figure, so we can figure out what's been incurred. That's going to be 7 times 200, which will be $1,400. And what's been paid in advance will be 5 months times 200, which will be $1,000. Now, here's where, so people often get to this stage, they've done the hard work, but they incorrectly put the right amount, they put the wrong amount into the journal and they changed this to the wrong figure. Remember, we need the trial balance, so the trial balance needs to reflect the expense we incur, okay? The adjustment we make needs to be for the prepaid, okay? So the adjustment we need to make is for the prepaid. That's the $1,000, because that's the figure we need to adjust, okay? We've paid that amount in advance, so that's a prepaid expense. So that's the one that goes in the journal. Okay, so I'll do this up here. 30th of the 6th, 2018. Prepaid insurance. Remember, that's a current asset. That's going to be the debit side entry. And now it's the $1,000. That's the amount that's actually prepaid. That's not prepaid. Okay? That is. So that's the amount we put here. Then insurance for $1,000 as well. Now, when we go to adjust the trial balance, which we'll do now, you find out you can check that you're right? A prepaid, we've got a prepaid, we know that decreases the value of the account in the trial balance. So we go to insurance now, we take $1,000 off. Funnily enough, that says $1,400 now after you've taken that $1,000 off, and well, hey presto, that's what we incurred. So now we know we're right. Okay, so the trial balance now reflects the expense we incurred. Okay, what I haven't done is put the other accounts in. So we'll put in prepaid insurance. That's going to be $1,000. And I put in these as well. Depreciation on furniture, that's an expense and a debit side entry. $200, and then accumulated depreciation on furniture is $200 as well on the credit side. Okay, hope this is useful. Take your time to go back through this. Make sure when you're doing these entries, if it's a prepaid, you want to record that. You don't want to record what's incurred. You want to record the amount that's prepaid, because that's what our entry is here. Okay? See you in class.